Welcome to this WION Sports Facebook Live. Today we are going to speak about the semi-final match between India and the invincible Australia at the ICC Women's T20 World Cup. But first, it's not a great news for the Indian fans. Our captain, Indian captain Harmanpreet Kaur, they're sweating over the availability of Harman and as well as the pacer Pooja Vastrakar. They both were admitted to a hospital due to an illness on the eve of the match. But they're back in the camp, but still there's no clarity over their availability.
I think Sneha Rana has come in for Vastrakar.
Yeah, so reports have said that Sneha Rana has been approved by the ICC as a replacement. She was in the reserves. She has been approved as a replacement in place of Vastrakar. But how bigger impact it can be on the team if Harman fails to make it?
Well, when your captain doesn't make it, it's obviously a big setback. But I think the Indian team has been along for a long time. The core of the team is there. And go back to the first game where Smriti Mandhana didn't play against Pakistan. They still coped without her. Harmanpreet is a loss. Let's not forget that massive 170 odd or more which she got against Australia in the
2017
Women's World Cup. So there's obviously that fear factor. And opposition teams sort of target one or two players, and in this team it is obviously Smriti Mandhana and Harmanpreet Kaur, despite the fact that Harmanpreet hasn't got too many runs in this tournament. But the hallmark of a good player is they deliver when the situation arises. Go back to Virat Kohli at the T20 World Cup against Pakistan.
Exactly.
Completely out of form and sort of, I wouldn't say out of form, but not close to the high standard that we had seen from him. But then he sort of just exploded and took India home. So India and the management will be hoping that she can play. But I'll be honest, if she's been taken to hospital, and what we are hearing about Pooja Vastrakar was a respiratory sort of illness, those are difficult because you should not get into a match if you're nowhere close to being 100% fit. At least even a 97-98% fitness, I don't know, because it's a big game. It's a World Cup semi-final. It's a semi-final, especially in the context of Indian cricket, where the men's team hasn't gone past the semi-final for a while. I think since that 2017 Champions Trophy, the women have actually reached the final of the 2017 World Cup, the 2020 T20 as well.
Commonwealth Games also they reached.
Commonwealth also they were there, and again Australia. So when you say at the beginning, invincible Australia, well, that's clearly setting out India are the underdogs in this one, and perhaps that's that. But that's, you would want to go into a semi-final with that kind of a tag on you, that the pressure is on the gun team, which is Australia, especially in women's cricket.
Yeah, if you're playing against Australia, you are definitely going to be the underdogs. But India are the only team who have come close to beating this invincible side. They played a draw recently. That was a super over tie.
So that's the only match they lost in that last 12 months, right?
Yeah, 22. If they haven't if that match wasn't a tie, Australia were coming into this World Cup with a 22 match winning streak. So India, if you have to give it, India are the only team that can beat them, So guys, what's your
full strength India, let me add. A full strength India.
Yeah.
Now obviously a lot of things have to be taken into consideration, especially if Harmanpreet doesn't play. Then the pressure is then coming on Smriti Mandhana. She's not just going to be your best batter, she's also then going to be captain.
Yeah.
So you have to factor all that in as well.
So guys, in the comment section, let us know what is going to be your playing 11 in case, Harmanpreet doesn't make it. So let us know in the comment section. We'll definitely take your comments. So if Harman is not there, Smriti will lead the team. She played a decent knock against Ireland. She scored 50. Of course, there were some drop catches by the Irish team, but she has regained her form some kind of way.
When it comes to a big match, and across all sport, it is the champion players who sort of take that step up in those matches and they win you the games.
Exactly.
You go back, again I'm changing formats in sport, but go back to the FIFA World Cup, look at how Mbappe dragged his team back into the contest. Like for the first 70 minutes, France were gone. You thought, let's just end this game and give it to Argentina. But then Kylian Mbappe single-handedly dragged his team back into the contest. So in the absence of Harmanpreet Kaur, if she is not cleared to play, the onus then comes on a lot of these other players who've been around for a while. Smriti Mandhana, Jemima Rodriguez,
Richa Ghosh. She has been a revelation.
In fact, more than the Jemima innings against Pakistan, and I was watching that game, the way Richa came and sort of eased that pressure by getting those boundaries in that one over, sort of turned the game around. The player of the match may go to somebody else. But that innings was crucial. It sort of turned it around.
No, so that's an interesting point that you make, because in T20 the strike rate is massive, it's important, it can be a game changer. Richa Ghosh has a strike rate of 135 in the Indian team, which is the highest. But the problem here is Australian team, they have players who can easily play at a strike rate of 150. Harris has a strike rate of career strike rate of 175. So that's the thing with Australia. They will bat you out. If they won the toss, they will score more than 20-25 runs at, like, what was the power score, they will score more.
So, but what Australia reminds me of is that England men's team in the 2019 World Cup. Where sort of whatever the situation, they don't panic. They just have the belief in their depth, and they know that okay, if one doesn't click, the next one comes and scores and scores and scores. Because you see Mooney, Lanning, Healy, you keep going on.
Yeah. They bat deep,
They just
and they're
bat very deep,
all rounders. So yeah, that's going to be a difficult.
And for me, I think for India to actually beat Australia, you not just have to hope that Australia have a very bad game. You also have to bring your best game, that the best you've played in this tournament or in the last sort of 6 months. Everybody has to deliver, because Australia, despite, even if they have an off day, the margin between them and the rest of the sort of the circuit in women's cricket is there. And it may not sound very nice, but we have to be very honest. There is a huge gap.
There's a huge gap.
You have to play out of your skins to beat them. And what complicates matters is they know how to win. The fact that they've dominated women's cricket for so long, and that setback after that 2017 ICC World Cup where Harmanpreet scored that and India reached the final. And after that, they sort of reset, they realized, and from there they haven't looked back. And it's been that domination which they've had. They've set very high standards for themselves, and I think when you have that kind of a run like that, then come what the situation is, they will find a way to win.
So India need to play out of their skin. Like, as you mentioned, the 2017 World Cup, Harmanpreet Kaur scored 170 odd. Like, so if India needs to win this match,
135 was it?
It was a 42 over match, and she scored, I think, 170. It was a rain curtailed match. So you need, like this. These are the big situation. Like, players are made into superstars in these big matches. Like, if you step up now is the time. So who will be the Harmanpreet Kaur of this T20 World Cup?
I am very impressed with the way Shafali Verma's played, and if sort of she can get India off to a blazing start, with Smriti there as well. I think you put runs on the board, you start putting Australia under pressure. I don't think Australia have been under pressure in this tournament, but if you may be the best team in the world, unless you're put under pressure, we don't know how good you are. So you put them under pressure and then see how they react. That's what I'm saying when I allude to the fact that you need to sort of have your best game. You play your best game, put them under pressure, because pressure can do funny things.
Exactly.
Go back to the 2017 ODI final. India cruising.
Yeah.
Then England put them under pressure. India collapsed. At one point, we had our flashes at India world champions and all that. But then England put us under pressure, and we had we lost 7 or 8 wickets just like that. And
it's all about nerves in the big matches. And she recently led the under-19 team to a World Cup title, but she also hasn't been able to time the ball that easily. But she has scored runs, hopefully.
They're saying it's a very slow wicket. I mean, obviously we're not there
in
Cape Town, but Newlands is a very slow wicket, and the Indian team has scored very well against the quicker bowlers. But when it comes to scoring against slow bowlers, India's record not very good. And I think Harman also spoke about it after the last game, that we need to cut down on the number of dot balls that we are facing, and we sort of need to keep that scoreboard ticking. I just think that if you are going to say bat first, you need 160 at least on board.
Definitely.
And then trust your bowlers, because we've got some very good bowlers.
Let's talk about Renuka Singh. She picked up a 5-wicket haul. She has been bowling well, So she can give, she can give the start that India needs. She can pick up quick wickets. If it swings a bit, she can swing the ball. So India also have decent players who can pull.
Would you agree that, I mean, our women's cricket expert is not here right now, Arifa. She's gone to Kerala, has she?
Yeah.
She'd be able to delve into this better, but you sort of follow this more than I do. Do you think that our India's bowling is sort of better than its batting?
I don't really think so, but we are really good at choking batsmen. We have a lot of spinners. Radha Yadav is there, and Deepti Sharma, the all-rounder, is there. Renuka has been in good form, and if they get in Shikha Pandey also, she swings it really well. She hasn't been playing though. So India has the talent. Like they have the bowlers to start well, and they have the spinners, to end it well. So India definitely have the pedigree to take on Australia.
But what is a safe score against Australia? What is the score where you would think that, okay, let's put this on the board and Australia, and that's going to put Australia.
I don't think
at least 180 odd is when you feel comfortable against this Australian side.
Definitely, because you need to score 30, 40 runs more than the power score. And I think for me, the way for India is to, if they win the toss, bat first, put these Aussies under pressure, and then
put
chase
runs
it.
on the board.
Put runs on the board.
You've seen how cricket is. I mean, you play any sport, cricket at any format, you put the runs on the board, and then you sort of put the opposition under pressure and see how they cope with it.
Exactly.
And I think if Australia bat first, just again, for India to chase 155, 160 is going to be tough.
Yeah, they have to rely on Richa Ghosh and probably hope for the best.
Sanjeev Sinha asks, what should be India's strategy against the winning Australian team? And we have a second question. We barely made it to the semis. I think it will be very difficult to beat Australia. I think that's what everyone seems to have that opinion, right? That Australia are the form team, and you'll have to just play out of your skins to beat them. What should be India's strategy against winning Australian team? Just play better.
Just
put them under pressure.
Yeah, put them under pressure.
Yeah, and see how it goes. Because cricket is a funny game. You've seen upsets happen, and especially this is also a knockout game.
Knockout. I mean,
you know that there is no another league match to come. You win this, you're going to the final, and you're staying at.
And so far, everything has played to script in this match. There have been no upsets. So hopefully, Indian fans are hoping that this is probably the first upset that will take them to the final.
Well, that would be massive, right? For India to reach back-to-back T20 finals, especially after winning the under-19 as well. It will be good, especially heading into the WPL.
Exactly, and the WPL is also coming. Many of these players will play together as a team. So interesting time for women's cricket. Where 5-6 years ago there was talk of will they be able to pull a IPL of women? But now it's there. The teams are there. The bids have gone skyrocketed.
But you know how that will help? It helps bridge the gap. And a lot of people I've spoken to, especially in hockey, there was always this intimidation factor when India played Australia. And we would play actually very well against the likes of Germany and Netherlands, but against Australia we would always sort of get hammered. Then came the Hockey India League, and that helped a lot. I think what the WPL will do is when you spend time in the dressing room with the same players, the ones you're competing against, and you think they're invincible, or I think that fear factor slowly goes down. But unfortunately, the WPL is coming after this match today.
Yeah. So I think we've covered everything.
Just hope that. Okay, am I getting something? Let me just check.
Guys, keep firing in your questions and your opinions as well, and your opinion about WPL.
Yeah. Okay, question is. No, it's not a question, it's a suggestion. What are you doing on the 6:30 show?
Yeah.
Okay, you were here since the morning. Tell us what we do.
So we have a action-packed 6:30 p.m. show. We'll cover football, we'll cover cricket, we'll cover all the stories starting from the Champions League and
Champions League. Yes, we obviously we have a sort of an internal policy that we don't reflect a game that is currently on. So that's why we're doing this sort of build-up to the India-Australia game, because when our show goes on air, India-Australia will already be underway, and previews and everything at that point of time don't make any sense because you obviously have a game on and you know what's going on over there. But Champions League, very big. Obviously, Manchester City unable to beat RB Leipzig. And Leipzig are one of the few teams who have actually had a win over City in Europe. They won in the last season. We also have these
seismic change in English football is hopefully underway.
Hopefully. Imperative word.
Imperative word. They are white papers. It's not a law. They are revamping the system, and this comes in the aftermath of the European Super League. Remember, guys, when Arsenal, all the big six of the English Premier League, were planning to join a breakaway league. So in the aftermath of that, a panel was created by the UK government.
After the sort of backlash.
A panel was created by the UK government, to give recommendations. So they have given a recommendation that you should form an independent regulatory body to monitor the football. And they have
Which
given...
is big because I don't think any other sport has an independent regulatory body. Even cricket doesn't have.
It's unprecedented.
Despite what happened in the Rafiq scandal and the racism issue in English cricket. No?
So we'll have a detailed report on that. It will tell you all the points that are there in the white paper. So stay
Also golf. Hero Indian Open, India's only European tour event. As things stand, Shubhankar, a very good start, played the morning session. Shubhankar is, I think, 4 under. And the lead is with, I think, Hani Besoya, an Indian boy playing on the PGTI. Big moment for him. Halfway through that first round, for him to lead a European tour event is massive.
So tune in to WION at 6:30 p.m. IST for a special show, and we will definitely get you the report. After our show, will there be a report on the semi-final match between India and Australia?
And hang on, and some lovely visuals. I'm promising you, I've never seen Cristiano Ronaldo like this.
In a new avatar,
New
never
avatar,
seen before.
yes. Cristiano Ronaldo with a sword. Heard of that? No? What's 6:30 WION Sports?